I thought I was watching Trainspotting, Goodfellas, or an episode of The Thick of It today. Turning the air Tory blue, Boris Johnson's former chief advisor, Dominic Cummings, spoke to the official COVID inquiry.
You called ministers useless pigs, morons, in emails and WhatsApps to your professional colleagues. Do you think you contributed to a lack of effectiveness on the part of ministers and of the cabinet?
My appalling language is obviously my own, but my judgment of a lot of senior people was widespread.
Blimey, when I heard that language, I didn't know whether I was Cummings or going. He then took a brief break from the effing and jeffing to share his views on the functioning of the government machine at the time.
The Cabinet Office was a bomb site, and many officials had come to me and said, this is causing chaos. There has to be some formalised system to actually grip this, because the Cabinet Office was a dumpster fire.
Why did you want Michael Gove to be in charge of regular devolved administration updates and not the Prime Minister?
I thought Gove would handle it 10 times better.
Handle what 10 times better?
Handle the process of dealing with the DAs.
Was he the Prime Minister?
Obviously not.
No.
Blimey, things must have been very bad. You know you're in trouble when Michael Gove is your best option. It was a tough day for Boris Johnson as Cummings revealed that he and others who worked with him knew that he was unfit to be Prime Minister and, quote, he won't read papers and he cannot chair meetings. He described Boris as like a shopping trolley smashing from one side of the aisle to the other. Explaining his decision to support the blonde bombshell, Cummings said they decided to roll the dice on Boris and try to build a team around him. Well, they rolled the dice on the country too. The chaotic shambles that was Number 10 during the pandemic confirms what we feared all along, that whilst we were sat on our hands at home in an insane and ruinous experiment to stop a respiratory virus, they didn't have a clue what they were doing. No evidence-based science, no proper debate, no risk assessment, just chaos and disorder led by indulgent idiots, woefully out of their depth, often drunk on Oxford Landing or Jacob's Creek, purchased from the Westminster branch of Tesco Express. We can be entertained by the soap opera and chuckle at the choice of language, but it won't bring a smile to anyone dealing with the legacy of the, in my view, wildly failed policies inflicted upon us for 2.5 years, where countries with fewer measures saw the same, if not better, outcomes. The sad reality is that Boris Johnson's instincts were right all along, but he lacked the backbone to follow them through. Sending a message to one of his advisers, he said he couldn't understand why we were destroying the economy for a virus which saw the average age of death being over 80, which is actually higher than the life expectancy in this country. He joked, "Get COVID, live longer." Instead, Cummings panicked Johnson, saying the NHS would implode like a zombie apocalypse film without lockdowns happening. Well, thanks to the policies we saw, for which those calling them out as mad were demonised, Britain is now a zombie apocalypse film. Now, this drawn-out and expensive inquiry could go on until 2026. Let me save them the trouble and the money. Damaging efforts to mitigate a virus that everyone was going to get anyway failed spectacularly, and we are all paying the price. A broken economy, eye-watering debt, an NHS waiting list of 7.6 million people, a mental health tsunami, and a generation of damaged kids. Forget about Dominic Cummings' language today. My own views on this spectacular and historic mistake are not suitable for broadcast on a family show. However, there are 2 words I can say on air. Never again.